byli zahladěni spíš do sebe, ale ta poslední si víc všímá věcí kolem nás. Sociální problémy, rasismus a nespravedlnost. Je to důsledek nějakého vyzrání? Máte méně problémů sami se sebou a více rozlížíte, co se děje kolem?
Well, it changes and it goes up and down, you know, basically. But I think just as you grow as an artist, you just basically the subject matter that you have a tendency to deal with becomes more complex and more sophisticated. It's a similar thing with people who write books. I think when they start off writing their first novels, they're usually fiercely autobiographical and quite navel-gazing, and then as they grow, it becomes a bit more complex. And I think that all the subjects that are explored on the record are subjects which affect us either directly or indirectly through people that we know or affect us directly. And so it's all kind of things that are very, very close to our hearts. I think that we just kind of basically started looking at the world a little bit more, and that's kind of like a sign of maturity, perhaps. You know, you kind of like, you know, as you grow older, you kind of read the news, you read the papers more, you watch the news, and the world kind of makes you angry, and injustice in the world makes you angry. You kind of, maybe you are, you know, you're not the same person that you were when you were 22, but maybe you still have the same, you know, fears or hang-ups or problems, whatever. But I think maybe perhaps you actually channel them a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Je to zvláštní, ale svět se dost změnil, mění se i pravidla hudebního světa, ale život rock'n'rollové hvězdy se zdá být stejný jako před 30 lety.
Yeah, you know, no matter how hard you try and do things differently, it ends up being, you know, pretty much the same thing, you know.
No aspoň některé věci zůstávají konstantní.
That are constant, yeah.
And do you like that?
Jak ses vyrovnal s rolí idola?
No. To be honest with you, it was something that I aspired to when, you know, maybe about 7 years ago, and it's something that I've become more and more uncomfortable with. I feel very uncomfortable with a great deal of adulation and adoration and hero worship. It's not something which actually gives me a hard on or anything, you know. It used to, but I think I've grown up a little bit, you know. I'm maybe a little more cynical, you know.
Sucker love is heaven sent you. Pucker up our passion spent. My heart's its art, your body's rent. My body's broken, yours is bent. Carve your name into my arm. Instead of stressed, I lie here charmed. 'Cause there's nothing else to do. Every me and every you. Sucker love.
Kdy jste vlastně přišli k tomu spojení se světem filmu? Objevili jste se ve Velvet Goldmine a dočetla jsem se, že jste měli hrát kapelu Judas Priest v dalším filmu.
Well, we were asked to play Judas Priest in a Hollywood film with Jennifer Aniston and Mark Wahlberg, but we refused. You know, we not rent a band for the movie business. We refused to get into the position where it's like, oh, we need a band in a movie. Let's call it Placebo, you know. I mean, the thing is that I've had training as I went to the University of London and I studied acting there. So it's something that does interest me, both being in front and behind the camera. And Velvet Goldmine was basically a film which was a real labor of love. It had really nothing to do with glam rock for us. It was the fact that it was Todd Haynes, who, while I was at college, I was a huge fan of. And so it's when the phone call came in, it didn't really matter what the film was about, just as long as it could be in a Todd Haynes movie.
Kolik z toho, co ses naučil a sám v sobě objevil při studiu herectví, vkládáš do svého účinkování v kapele?
No, not really. It's to be honest, it has to be, in order to communicate emotion, which is what we're very interested in doing, which is the main impetus behind what we do. It needs to be honest, it needs to be filled with passion, basically. And so if you were just putting on a character kind of in a Ziggy Stardust sort of way, then there would be a certain emptiness and a certain calculation there, which would make it less truthful and would make it more difficult to communicate emotion. And when you see us on stage, what you're basically getting is that you're getting a kind of an aspect of our personalities that is us, but that is slightly exaggerated for a dramatic effect. That's all, you know. It's showbiz.